What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Something to Say podcast. I'm with my boys here, Rudy and Ed, and we are back with another episode, guys. We got lots to talk about, so we're just going to jump right on into it. Ed, talk to me about your Bears, boy.
Hey, man, like I told y'all last time, Chicago, we in the building, bear down. The Bears, you already know.
Who would have expected? Who would have expected, man?
I told y'all, man, like, not to fear, you know, Bear Nation is here, you already know. Hey, Justin Fields went crazy. I was wondering, I'm seeing notifications, phone blowing up, Justin Fields, DJ Moore. I'm like, is that my 1-2 punch going crazy? Justin Fields, 4 TDs, 3 of those reception TDs came from my boy DJ Moore. 230 yards, breaking records. We just going crazy. Killed the Washington football team. I wasn't worried. I wasn't shaking in my boots. I had confidence in my team, man. So
I guess when your back is against the wall, all of a sudden they want to play well. You know
hey,
what I mean?
Only way you could go is up. So yeah.
See, that's my question I want to ask you then, man. Do you think they can win the next game too? Or do you think they're going to lose the rest of the season?
Who going against?
Oh.
Who do you think?
Who we going against?
Next week. Hold on. We got to check a matchup here, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me see.
It depends. It depends on the team.
It don't really depend on me. Cause I think we gonna win.
Let's see who the Bears are playing next week, because they are 1-3 currently, and we're going to find out.
We gonna get that wild card spot. I'm telling you, wild card to the Super Bowl. Has that been done before?
Oh, yeah.
Wild card to the Super Bowl?
It has been done before. It absolutely has been done before. They play the Minnesota Vikings that are currently also 1-3 right now.
Oh, that's easy. That's cake.
They are playing the Chiefs at the moment as we speak, but they are 1-3 at the moment. They could end up being 2-3 at the end of the day or 1-4. But that is the next game for the Bears, a divisional matchup for the Bears. I have to say, Rudy and I both had our doubts. I definitely have my doubts. Washington last week took Philadelphia, undefeated team, to overtime. Yeah. Almost beat them. So I thought, based on how the Bears have been playing, and, you know, after what happened to them against Denver and, like, how they had that game and then they lost it in the end, I was starting to wonder if the Bears were going to hang it up this season. But, damn, they played good on Thursday night. They looked like a motivated team. They have a lot of injuries from starters on the defense side of the ball, and they played really, really well against Washington's receivers, against Washington in general. Like Rudy said, really want to see what they do now. They cannot look back. They cannot afford to take another loss.
Facts.
I think they just both realize their potential as a team. They're able to accomplish and everything. So keep going. Keep that ball rolling. Keep the momentum going. Yeah. Especially against a beatable Vikings team.
Oh, definitely beatable.
What I mean? Like, let this
and we taking them out, man. I'm not even worried about it.
He's not even. Ed has got Super Bowl
2-3. I'm telling you, we getting the wild card. We gonna run this back. Wild card, Super Bowl. I'm telling you, watch.
You heard it here first, y'all.
You heard it here. You heard it right here. Wild card. Bears. Hey, I'll tell you one thing though. If the Bears can find a way to get 2-3 next week,
they'd be in a good stand.
They'd be in a good spot because there's plenty of football left to play this season. And it's the same thing I said about your Chargers too, Rudy. You guys are on a bye this week. You're coming off of a couple victories back to back. You guys are 2-2. You're right where you need to be to make your push for the rest of the season.
And we'll be refreshed and everything too because of the bye week.
And Eckler's coming back after the bye week. He's missed the last couple of games. That is the key cog. That's the gasoline to the Chargers, to the engine for the Chargers is Austin Eckler. You have to get him going. They basically feed off of his play, and everything else opens up off of Austin Eckler. He's a receiver. He's a running back. He's an all-encompassing run. He's a great player.
He's special, man.
He is special.
I'm telling you, the Chargers team, man, they have a very good foundation. They do. Off of, bro. They do. Like,
there's no reason you guys shouldn't be a playoff team again. There's no reason you guys shouldn't be at least the wild card team.
And if worse comes to worse, I'm blaming the coaching staff like every season.
Can't go wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's always a damn coaching season every season.
I will tell you guys, we are obviously in the thick of the football season. So we are going to start with our first fantasy football segment from yours truly.
Yes,
I'm weekly going to give you guys 5 players. I'm telling you, 5 players that are sleepers that are available in your fantasy league that you can get right now, plug in and play, and they will help you win games. And I'm going to tell you, hopefully you can swoop some of these players still, and most of them are available right now in your league. So let's start off with the first player that has absolutely come from out of nowhere this year, Sam Laporta, tight end for the Detroit Lions. If you're a fantasy football player, you know that the tight end pool is dry as all hell. It's like California. We're looking for water wherever we can find it. Like, it is tough. Outside of Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, you're probably struggling to have a consistent tight end every week. And I can tell you, if you can get Sam Laporta, you need to get him right now. Jared Goff has created unbelievable rapport with this rookie early on. He has seen at least 5 targets in his last 4 games, including 2 touchdowns this morning against the Atlanta Falcons. I can't stress enough, if he's still out there, which he might be, you need to swoop him up, and you need to start him now if you're struggling with tight end points. Speaking of moving on from getting points from your tight end, we need to bring up give me one second, folks. We need to bring up Justice Hill, running back from the Baltimore Ravens. If you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, or if you have a Baltimore Ravens running back, you guys are in trouble because everyone is hurt. Everyone is hurt. Dobbins is out for the season, and Gus Edwards is just coming back from an injury, and Justice Hill is also a little banged up, but Justice Hill is getting the lion's share of the work. He's available in your league for more than likely, and you could start him right now. He had a touchdown today. I highly recommend checking your waiver wire. You could probably add him immediately, and he's going to continue to get at least 10 carries a game. I know this isn't a bell cow like Christian McCaffrey, but hey, when you're searching for points, you can't ask for more than Justice Hill out of Baltimore. Moving on to our next player, Michael Wilson out of Arizona. If you've seen what Arizona's doing this year, they are throwing a lot. Josh Dobbs is averaging 30 attempts a game throwing the ball in the air, and Michael Wilson is the Robin to Hollywood Brown's Batman. He has seen 5 targets at the minimum. He has a 2 touchdown game last week. I highly recommend looking at your waiver wire. He is there. He is available. Swoop him up now. Bench him. He's going to continue to get work throughout the season. The Cardinals are going to be down in all of their games. They're going to continue to be throwing the ball from being behind. I promise you, Michael Wilson is going to be a sleeper for your flex position or your wide receiver position, especially with bye weeks hitting this week. Bye weeks are so important because you're going to need players to plug and play when your stars have to sit. Look out for Michael Wilson. Moving on to our 4th player, we got to talk about Jordan Mason from yours truly, San Francisco 49ers. If you know Christian McCaffrey, you know he's an absolute monster.
Yes.
But he gets hurt often. And he has missed a lot of games in the last 3 years specifically, a lot of wear and tear on his body. You can't expect him to play the entire season, unfortunately. I will knock on wood that he does stay healthy. He does continue to lead the 49ers backfield, but based on history and based on how much he's already been worked this season, he's looking to get the most reps he's ever gotten in a football season in his career. He's going to get banged up, and you're going to need insurance. And Elijah Mitchell, who is the backup to Christian McCaffrey, cannot stay healthy. He is actually injured again, and he is a scratch for tonight's game. There leaves Jordan Mason, a second-year young bell cow who is going to get work more and more later in the season as they try to rest Christian McCaffrey for the playoffs, and as Elijah Mitchell continues to work back from injury, continue to get in football shape, you're going to be able to lean on Jordan Mason. If you can pick him up now and you can stash him, I promise you he's going to pay off dividends for you eventually. I 100% tell you that he is available in your league right now. You can come after me, put it on me if he's not, but he is available. Stash him. He could be an RB1 for you in the later part of the season, especially in the playoffs, and especially in the championship rounds when hopefully the Niners are looking at a first-round bye and they're not playing Christian McCaffrey later in the season. You're not going to be able to rely on him in the later part of the season, for the Niners are not going to want to risk him getting injured before the important games start. Jordan Mason, get him now. 5th and final player for the week. I'm going to set you guys up with one of the best ones I think that I've found with my research is Tajay Sharp out of Tennessee. He is Derrick Henry's backup. Remember, Derrick Henry is the main offensive player on that team. He gets 20 to 30 attempts a game. He threw a touchdown last week. He's all they have. He is not going to last. He has a lot of wear and tear. He sees unbelievable amount of reps per game. Later in the season, I wouldn't even imagine the next few weeks, he is also going to get banged up. He's also going to need more help. Tajay Sharp is getting more and more reps each week. He had a touchdown today. He's going to continue to get work out of the backfield. I promise you, if you pick him up and you stash him, he's also available in your league right now, and he's going to pay off more and more dividends. He's going to get more and more reps as the season goes on. And if Tennessee is also in a position where they need to rest Derrick Henry, this kid is going to get unbelievable work. We're talking about possibly 15 to 20 attempts a game. So if you're a fantasy player and you're looking for help, these 5 players are available and they can help you. And I would go pick them up as soon as possible. And that's going to wrap up my fantasy segment for the week. Go add your players, get your points today, win your matchups, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, boys, for letting me have my little moment there.
Oh, yeah. Everybody get their shine, man.
But I had to tell the people where they're going to find their points each week.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to look at some of that myself.
And Ed is in my league, so I'm giving him the secrets right now.
What's his name?
I'm just going to just screenshot that from later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, send me that, man.
Yeah.
Crazy,
so,
man.
let's segue from that, because I need to get the boys' opinion on tonight. Is one of the biggest games of the regular season so far. I have to say I'm a little biased, but with the history of football and the rivalry that has been reheated in the last couple of years, we're talking Dallas Cowboys at San Francisco 49ers tonight, boys. Tell me how you're feeling about this matchup. Tell me what you think is going to happen tonight, Ed.
All right, so I'm going to go with the 49ers. And the reason I'm going to go with the 49ers, because defense is a huge part of football.
Oh, yeah.
And they missing the heart of their defense. He's out for the season.
Trayvon Diggs. Cornerback for
he tore his ACL, right?
Tore his ACL, out for season.
And I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know too much about their defense, but you lose the heart of your defense is going to move a little different. Not going to really have that extra dog in them. So, and they got Debo and Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. It might be open season, man. It might be a little cakewalk out there. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But hey, what do I know? So yeah, 49ers. I'm going 49ers.
Oh, I love it.
And honestly, I'm rooting for the 49ers from a childish perspective, though, to be honest with you, because I'm from Oxnard, and in Oxnard, there's a lot of Cowboy fans. Because obviously that's where the Cowboys training.
Yep.
So they're very ignorant. They're very loud. They're very just like in the way. You know what I mean?
They are in the way.
And it's just, you can't help it. Man, I'll root for any team against the Cowboys.
Any team.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't even matter. Dude. So I'm obviously going for the Niners as well. You can't help it. You can't hate the Niners. I'm sorry. You just can't. You can't hate the Niners. How they're structured and everything. It's just how they are with like their rookie QB. Or obviously not.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, as special as he is and everything, you want to see the boy do good. You know what I mean? You really do.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them.
That's 240.
So if you're a Cowboy fan, stop watching right now. We don't care about you. Just let it go. Just go.
Be gone.
We don't care about the Cowboys. Yeah, bro. But that's my piece on that. So definitely the Niners.
Rudy, one thing that you brought a word to my mind that just is perfect based on what you were saying about Cowboy fans is they have a sense of entitlement for no reason at all.
Talk about it.
What I hate the most is that Cowboy fans call themselves America's team. And I will never, ever understand why, how, what, where.
Who started that?
Them?
Rudy.
Was it them? Like,
let's rewind here. We're going to go a little NFL history lesson, which is perfect because we're going to go right into Rudy's history segment after we talk a little pigskin here.
Yeah.
But let's rewind the clocks back to the 1980s, where the NFL Films at the time was starting to really... Steve Sable and NFL Films was starting to blow up, basically, and they were starting to actually put live, like stories from the NFL teams into people's living rooms. And historically, but basically the 80s was when football blossomed. Like, football wasn't very popular in the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. In fact, like, most of the players had to work 9-to-5 jobs in the off season, and then they played football in their spare time. a lot of these people, there wasn't also enough money back in that day to like supplement an entire football career for your entire year worth of money, basically. And so once the 80s came and there was a little more exposure and they was able to get more cameras on the fields, NFL Films was starting to document teams and tell stories of their own, and it was really starting to engage fans in a different way, starting to bring people into the game more. And so one of their most famous segments was on the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys had a quarterback named Roger Staubach. Now, if you guys know about Roger Staubach, he's a legend because he actually left and went to war in the middle of his football career. And then he served in the military in war. And then after his fucking service, he came back and won Super Bowls for the Dallas Cowboys. And so they called him Captain America.
That's legendary.
And so
that is a legendary name.
It is legendary.
Legendary.
No disrespect to Roger Staubach, but while the Cowboys were becoming one of the best teams in the NFL, because Roger Staubach was one of the original mobile quarterbacks, like him, Randall Cunningham, Fran Tarkenton. These were the original. You look at today, and you got Lamar Jackson, and you've got Justin Fields, and you've got Jalen Hurts, and these guys are supreme athletes that can run. And it's normal, but back then, there wasn't a lot of quarterbacks that would scramble, and like we talked about off air, like you would get killed also if you were a scrambling quarterback. There was no protection for you back in that day, so a lot of them stayed in the pocket as they should. But Roger Staubach would scramble, and so he brought electricity back to the Dallas Cowboys offense, which made them start to be more popular. They were starting to be the team that people were excited to watch in the NFL. And so when NFL Films came out and they did a segment on the Dallas Cowboys and Roger Staubach, they called him Captain America, and they called the Cowboys America's team. And
that's
so
how it happened.
So historically, it goes back. You can go back and find this NFL Films episode on the Dallas Cowboys, and you can hear the narrator calling them the America's team, and that blew up from NFL Films. And so then fans across the nation started to call the Cowboys America's team, and then they basically, the Cowboys and the Niners actually dominated the 1980s between both of the teams, winning multiple Super Bowls, both teams winning multiple Super Bowls, and kind of cementing the legacy that would continue today for both franchises was built in the 1980s for both Dallas and both San Francisco. And moving into the 1990s, they met in the NFC Championship 2 times. They both had to face each other to get to the Super Bowl. They had the famous Charles Haley trade that sent him from the 49ers to the Cowboys. There's a lot of when Dion played for the Cowboys and the Niners and won a Super Bowl for both teams. There's a lot of little intricacies between the two, but that is how the Cowboys officially got their America's team mantra way back in the 1980s from NFL Films. And it carries on to this day, and that is where that sense of entitlement comes from, because the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since fucking 1993. So I don't know how every year they're the favorite to come out and win the Super Bowl when we haven't seen them do shit in 20 plus years. Delusional. And I'm talking to you, Skip Bayless. I hope this somehow finds you bitch ass one day.
I'm gonna tag him.
You're the one who I always see every year throwing your Dak Prescott jersey in the trash after you guys blow it in the playoffs. And then you come back the next year and you say, we're the best defense, we're the best team, we're going to win the NFC, we're going to win the Super Bowl. You know what? The proof is in the pudding. Show us instead of telling us, Cowboys. Like, tonight, you better beat the Niners, because if you don't, you're just going to be the same pretender you always are. And guess what? You haven't even played anyone this year. This is the first team that is actual competition for you. You played the damn Giants, who are possibly the worst team in the NFL. They've yet to easily. They've won one game but barely when they beat the Cardinals. You played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers at home. You guys, and you lost to the Arizona Cardinals. Tell me who you've beaten. Tell me what you've done yet. Tell me how you're the best team in football. I don't get it. I don't understand. Prove it tonight.
It's just the delusion is real, man. Like, look at Raider fans, for example. All respect to the patience that the Raider fans have. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they can be ignorant as well sometimes too, but like, they'll be the first to tell you that their team sucks.
Yes, they will.
They'll be the first to tell you, oh yeah, who knows what we're gonna do this season, blah blah blah. But that's not how it is with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are very delusional. The Cowboys won't openly admit that their team is trash.
Never.
They're never gonna admit it. It's just a sense of pride that they feel like they need to carry with them wherever they go. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And guess what? Mark my words. You better be watching TVs all across Dallas tonight, because one thing I've learned from the last 2 years when the Niners have knocked y'all out of the playoffs is there's a lot of TVs that get broken on social media, and it's seen. So watch out tonight. There might be a lot of cracked TVs on the curb in the morning.
A lot of Best Buy trips.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Gotta get a new one.
Yeah.
You can't be having Black Friday for another month and a half. You gotta wait. You gotta be a little more patient. Crazy, man.
So obviously, I'm going Niners tonight, 100%. Rocking Niners all day long till I die. The most complete team in football. You can't argue it. The offense is unbelievable. You've got C-Mac. You've got Kittle. You've got Ayuk. You've got Devo. You've got Kyle Juszczyk. It's ridiculous how many mouths there are to feed on the offense. And then you want to talk about
hungry.
Hungry team. We want to talk about the defense. Freddie Warner, best linebacker in the game right now. Dre Greenlaw, Charvarius Ward, Talona Hafunga, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, the Gravedigger. It goes on and on.
Good luck.
If this team stays healthy, good luck stopping them. It's the most motivated Niners team I've seen in a long time. It's the most talented Niners team I've ever had the privilege of watching. I'm enjoying every moment because it's fleeting. Like, one year you're the best in the NFL, and the next year you're scrounging to get a win. It happens every season. I'm enjoying every moment. And tonight, the Cowboys are going to get the full force of the Niners at home, and they better be ready. Dak Prescott, your ass better be ready, because...
Yeah, and guess what? We're going to have something to talk about next week as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
A good recap.
We're going to have something to talk about next week as well. So
definitely.
we'll see, man.
And I got a bar waiting. It doesn't say I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I got something to say. No pun intended about this game, if I think I know what's going to happen.
Oh my
but
God.
We're going to move on from football for a moment, because we got a segment from Rudy, our boy right here. He's going to give you a little history lesson, looking a little back, because like I always say, you can't know your future without knowing your past. And so, Rudy, talk to the people. Tell them what you got on the docket for today.
All right, man. So, obviously, we record on Sundays. Films get released Thursday around 9. These movies actually had come out on October 6th. And basically, I'm going to be doing this thing where I just bring up certain films that were released around the time that we're recording, basically. From history, great films from throughout history. And then we kind of just get into it a little bit. So, the first one is the legendary classic film called The Departed.
Oh,
that movie, phenomenal. It came out on October 6th, right? So obviously it's starring Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, of course.
Matt Damon.
It's an all-star. It's an Avengers cast.
Yeah, it
right?
really is.
Like, some of the greatest actors of all time, absolutely. And they just obviously it's set in Boston, where Mark Wahlberg is from. So it all just played perfectly. That's one of those movies everybody in their lifetime has to see at least one. The movie was
100%.
phenomenal.
I don't think I've finished it.
You've never, no? What about you? Have you seen it?
Oh yeah,
phenomenal movie.
I always say the last 20 minutes of The Departed is like the
most,
my god, like
crazy.
Jaw drop, like the most I've ever been like, what the fuck is going on? like literally, like that movie is. Like you said, it's like an Avengers crime movie. Like it's
it's phenomenal. It's gritty. It's dark. It's cold. You know what I mean? That movie. But what I love most is Jack Nicholson's performance, because he has such like a calm resolve. Yeah, he's like a murderous, evil person in that movie, but he's so calm about it, and I just love it. I just love the resolve.
He has no
energy,
like remorse, like for what he does. Like
he feels nothing. It's he's just on autopilot, working his way, doing his charm.
He's a robot.
Oh, it's amazing.
He's a robot.
The role that he played in that movie was phenomenal. And also Leonardo DiCaprio, because that's a side that we haven't seen from him before that movie was released. You know what I mean? He was he had the shaved head and everything. Like, he was bold in that movie too.
Oh yeah, he was.
And that kind of just expanded, at least as a fan, that expanded people's view of him, pretty much saying he can do anything. He can play any type of person with ease.
He really
master it. He put on a masterful. Obviously, so did Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg as well.
The whole cast. I mean, it's perfectly casted. Like it's honestly one of Martin Scorsese's best films in my opinion. Like I think it's phenomenal. Like and one of the best like like endings too. Like the last scene is incredible. Like
Absolutely.
really incredible.
And
like,
on a scale of like 1 to 10, honest to God, I'd give it a very strong 9.5 out of 10.
I gotta watch it now.
No, it was phenomenal.
I gotta watch it. Is it
Oh,
on
yeah.
Netflix?
Masterful. I gotta check.
Easy 9 out of 10 for sure
Yeah.
as well for me. Yeah.
Check it out.
Just masterful. And if you guys ever do want to see it, it's actually on Prime right now.
Oh, okay.
And you gotta watch it. It's just, if you're at all a fan of any of these actors, like Rudy said, it's a phenomenal film.
Yeah.
It literally keeps you on, I mean, the edge of your seat. Like I would have fallen off of my seat like watching the last of it. It was crazy.
It was
like,
amazing.
Like
with that shock twist. And
oh
everything,
yeah,
amazing.
just
I'm gonna do a follow up there.
Obviously,
do a little
yeah.
follow-up.
We'll have Ed do a follow up, give us a little input on
oh
it and
yeah,
everything.
because I want to know what you think too.
Yeah,
Ed. Like,
absolutely.
Because if you didn't finish it, that's like the most important. Like, I mean, the whole movie is incredible, but yeah, just like it just keeps you. It keeps you guessing all the way till the end. It's great. It's so good. What a good first movie. Like that's a phenomenal film to come out like in October. And a great time of the year for that to come out. A little dark, a little scary.
Oh, it was perfect.
Spooky season.
Like, man, it was perfect. And obviously, how could you hate any of those actors?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
they're all Oscar winning, Hall of Fame, amazing talent.
Legends.
Just
legends.
All on the same screen
also,
together.
Yeah, and also the other movie that got released.
Oh, let us know.
By another two legends. Is this movie called Meet the Parents.
Oh!
Obviously
Hey,
starring,
Falker.
Yeah,
Hey, Falker.
Yeah. Starring Ben Stiller.
Hey, Falker.
And the legendary Robert De Niro.
Oh,
you know what?
legend.
Like,
the GOAT. The
You
GOAT.
know what I mean? Like, and that's what I loved about that movie was because Robert De Niro was known for his very serious,
very serious
gangster roles. You know what I mean? So to see him in this movie. And have him kill it the way he did.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so
you
good.
could tell that he was still himself. Like, that serious side of him. But then Ben Stiller kind of opened up that comedic side to him.
Yeah.
And it just brought out a whole nother world of just comedic material. Absolutely. The movie was one of the funniest movies ever.
Oh, it's a classic.
It's amazing, bro. Like, how are you going to take a male nurse... Have him meet an ex-CIA, like, genius.
It's
man.
genius, like
so absolutely phenomenal movie. You guys, I'm assuming you guys both saw it.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's like it's one of those comedy classics where like it's like if someone said I haven't seen Meet the Parents, you'd like give them that look like what? Like are you serious?
It's just
like
one of those ones.
Like
you know?
Do you even like comedy?
Oh yeah.
And it built a trilogy too. Like right? There's 3 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there is 3 of them. Obviously, the follow-up sequel was Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
And truthfully speaking, I thought Meet the Fockers was even funnier.
Yeah, with and then you add in
what's his name? God.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
Dustin
Hoffman and his wife too.
Barbara
Streisand.
No, Barbara Streisand. Yeah.
Barbara Streisand. And both of them were phenomenal in that movie as well. You know what I mean? Like just that's
a
one
good
of those
sequel.
Yes, a great sequel.
Which is kind of sometimes rare.
Especially in comedy. Especially in comedy.
Especially in comedy. Absolutely. Like for example, how The Hangover is legendary, but part 2 and 3 were like
like kind of meh. Like that happens a lot. It's hard to recreate like. In comedy and action, you can kind of recreate a trilogy movie. Keep villains alive, going into the next movie and stuff. But comedies are difficult to keep it funny.
I never realized that. That is true.
Like
that is
so,
true.
like especially for that, for them to nail it with Meet the Like I think you're right. Like I think that movie even was more popular too. Like it was like a really successful sequel to add on to Meet the Parents, and especially like I love when they're able to bring back all the same actors, like Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro, and like his wife, like Robert De Niro's same wife as he had, and the same girlfriend or the fiance for Ben Stiller. Like I always hate when they change actors going from
it kind of just takes away from like the magic of the movie.
You know
what I mean?
And it takes you out of the movie,
and that's a trend in comedy sequels. Yeah. It's rare that they keep people. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think there's just like there's very few comedic movies that can pull off a sequel though, to be honest with you. Like I know we're going off topic of like today in history type of thing, but like one that was evident was like Rush Hour 1 and 2.
And
dude, 3. I think they might be working on 4.
And guess what? I'm down because the first 3 are fucking great.
Hilarious.
They're so good.
But once again, I think in that one, there's action in that movie, but it's very like light.
Yeah,
very comedic action. So that's one of those few comedic films that you can make a sequel and have it just be just as good. And God, even that third one, in my humble opinion, was just as good.
Oh, that was great.
You know what I mean?
A lot of my friends love they quote Rush Hour on the regular.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
think they would prefer to watch 2 more than 1 actually.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
And I
Two was
I
probably the
understand
best,
that.
yeah.
Like even though I love all 3 of them, like we talked about,
Yeah.
but I would understand someone. I would never argue with someone being like, "Oh, Rush Hour 2 is my favorite." I'd be like, "Oh, definitely." And then someone said Rush Hour 1 is my favorite. I'd be like, "Yeah." Like I couldn't argue either one.
Not at all.
And even if someone said Rush Hour 3 would be my favorite, I would even be like, "Dude, I
their moments
love
too.
the 3rd one." Like,
Absolutely.
I think the Rush Hour movie series probably is like one of the perfectly balanced,
Oh, it's
like action comedy. Because
Absolutely.
then you got Jackie Chan, he fuck somebody else. Then like him and Chris
Absolutely,
Tucker had like a funny
It's
moment.
Oh, it's
beautiful.
so good.
Beautifully
It's so good.
constructed, and honest to God, it came out at the right time.
it
Yeah.
did.
Because a movie like that, breaking off those racist comments and jokes
Canceled.
that they do,
Yeah.
oh, it would never fly in today's day. It
You're
wouldn't.
canceled if
That's
that's
why
what
there's
you
yeah.
a beauty in that at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a beauty. Hey, let's look back on what was acceptable back then,
Yeah.
and have it be funny. You know, so I think that's amazing. But I think the last thing I would say about Meet the Parents is just what I loved about that movie was the beginning, because obviously that's a legendary name in film history, Gaylord Fokker.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a legendary name. But the fact to have him, right as the movie begins, he's delivering a baby because he's a male nurse. And the parents are like, oh yeah, in our country, we like to name the baby after the person that delivered the baby. And then they ended up lifting the name tag and they saw Gaylord Fokker and they just looked at him. And then the scene ended. Phenomenal beginning. I thought it was hilarious, you know what I mean? And just, honest to God, I think out of 10, I'd give that movie a very strong, I would say like an 8.7.
Oh, I like that.
I'll give like an 8.7
8.7
out of 10 on that movie.
I like that.
I think Meet the Fockers gets a higher rating, but right now we're talking about I would give it an 8.7.
Oh, I love that.
What about you
I'd
guys?
say solid 8.5.
Yeah.
I love your number, but I'm gonna go with 8.5 just because I feel like that's just a perfect number.
Yeah.
For me. And I really have no
I think
complaints.
it's fair.
But I'm just gonna go with 8.5 because I do think this the sequel is a little bit better as well. Like so, and I would give that a 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
like
I'd give that a
especially
9. Yeah,
like
a 9.
especially with like how we were talking about that's just an iconic like 90s comedy.
Yes,
like,
yeah,
like
of
or
course.
might be early 2000s, but somewhere in that late 90s, early 2000s. Like, and like you said, it hit at the perfect time. 100% you get canceled today. Also
yeah.
with Meet the Parents with the Gaylord Fucker name too, because people would be
Oh,
so
the-
upset
the
about
nipple
that.
too,
Like,
the nipple thing.
Oh, he was like, I got nipples. Can you milk me?
like
I'm telling you,
so
man.
much would be like just over like people would be so sensitive about today
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff with that movie. So it really is like one of those perfectly timed like comedy movies
yeah.
as well with the things
Oh, yeah.
that they did. Like,
Absolutely. What you at?
I'd say like 8.3, 8.4.
Yeah.
But I will have to watch it because I haven't seen it in a long time.
yeah.
Mhm. It's good, but I mean, if you're gonna watch that, you might as well watch the second one as well, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the fact that Dustin Hoffman and Barbara Streisand,
Yeah.
they just brought it up to another level.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? Because it wasn't only just Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro anymore. It was now the parents being so strong in their beliefs and how they live and everything. How Robert De Niro and his wife are very just serious by the book and they do things a certain way, while Ben Stiller's parents in that movie were very free spirited, very just go with the flow and all that. So just them butt heads the way they did,
Yeah.
and then eventually come together. Like, it's just beautifully written.
Yeah.
Beautifully written. And so, and you know what though, you guys, from obviously from now on, I'm gonna be incorporating these, you know, like films, breaking them down, getting their input on it as well, and just kind of in a way also just reminiscing on some
No,
great
I
films.
love it.
Yeah.
Reminiscing
Plus, like,
on some great films.
Giving people films that they probably maybe have not seen. Like
Yeah.
that's what I love about this is giving people that they can go and now be like, you know what, I've never seen Meet the Parents, or maybe younger people who don't even know about these movies can go back.
Yeah.
Like, and now in the world of streaming, it's so easy to find
yeah.
all of this
Absolutely.
stuff.
Everything is
Right.
like on YouTube.
Yeah.
honestly.
So you-
And Meet the Parents is on Hulu currently.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I
you
love
guys
that you're
can watch
giving
it.
like, dude.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So I think genuinely, obviously, you should watch Meet the Parents, and you might as well
100%.
watch Meet the Fockers too.
Oh,
while you're at
yeah.
it. But the definite must watch. Like, this is not even. I'm telling you, you have to watch.
I
You have
agree.
to watch that. That movie was
Watching
masterful.
it.
Masterful. You know, they don't make movies like that
They
anymore.
don't.
The amount of depth, everything. The fact that they just dove into like this complete world of just crime and just living a double life the way they were. Oh my god, phenomenal
It's
movie.
so well. It's like
yeah,
orchestrated so well and written, like you said, so well. And you know,
yeah.
kind of going off of that, which and also like I freaking love that like I love we're gonna look back into your segments and look back in these movies and these
Yeah.
and these things and also just stuff I'd love to revisit. You know, like talking about wanting to go back. I'd love to rewatch both of those movies and just kind of like get refamiliarize myself with both of them. Like,
it's funny, man. Good movies to like look back on, man.
It's
just nice. Comedy movies nowadays, they're still good. They're still funny. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna laugh, of course, but they just hit different. Early 2000s comedy, late 90s comedy, bro. It's special.
It's different. It's special.
It was less restrictions and less sensitivity.
Yes,
everybody understood that it was just comedy,
and it allows for more, like to do more and allow for more fun stuff when you're not worried about upsetting someone to the point where now you got people who are picketing because you used a Gaylord name or something or whatever. Well, it's just these things that aren't meant to to upset anyone. It's just supposed to be funny. It's comedy. It's something you're supposed to come and laugh at.
You actually reminded me of that too. How obviously I don't know if you guys remember Tropic Thunder.
Ben Stiller, man.
Classic, right?
Amazing,
right?
Yeah,
you would never see Robert Downey Jr. put on blackface. Ever again.
Well, you never see Simple Jack either.
Yeah, that as well. Like there was a lot of boundaries that they crossed, And so I think it was a few months ago. Somebody had reached out, and there was a lot of people talking about it to the point that it got Ben Stiller's attention. That they basically reached out to Ben Stiller, and they basically just told him, like, hey, do you regret making a movie like this? It's very offensive, it's very racist at times, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of like just bringing it down, just attacking it, trying to bring it into today's standards. You know what I mean? And Ben Stiller just straight up said, hey, you know what? I don't regret a single second making that film.
And he's like,
I am actually genuinely proud of making that film. It's one of my personal favorites. Like, he completely defended the film. Yeah, he's like, feel how you want to feel, that you're entitled to your opinion, but just know I don't regret making it at all.
Good. So, good for you, Ben Stiller.
What I mean? Yeah, so that was
because it's a phenomenal film.
Yeah, it's a. I liked it.
I loved it.
I still quote it to this day.
It was funny.
But the fact that they took it there, man, like, why is Robert Downey Jr. trying to relate to Brandon T. Jackson in the movie?
What did he say?
We're wearing Mother Nature's midnight camo. Like, come on, man.
He said, I'm a dude of a dude playing another dude. That shit had me dying.
Phenomenal, man. And once again, masterful actors. Robert Downey Jr., amazing actor.
Amazing actor.
Ben Stiller's a great actor.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Brandon T. Jackson.
Yeah, Jack Black is in it, too.
I forgot Jack.
Danny McBride, Matthew McConaughey's in it.
And Matthew McConaughey. Dude, Matthew McConaughey's a GOAT. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For what he did with Interstellar.
Yeah.
But his role
that was a mind.
But also willing to just be that side character and Thunder with the TiVo.
Oh, lest we forget Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
He was completely unrecognizable.
Yeah.
He just took these actors that aren't known for acting this way and putting him in certain scenes. Like, I have never seen Tom Cruise cuss out.
No, it was.
I've never seen that in film, and he did it, and he did amazing.
He
did phenomenal.
And same thing with Matthew McConaughey, just being this little mousy sidekick who's just trying to get him his TiVo the whole time. You see an Oscar-winning actor in that. That's what makes it so funny, because it's and that shows how good that script was, because these guys are willing to be like, dude. Because I guess fun fact about that movie too, Tom Cruise. That whole dancing scene, he improv that whole thing.
I love that.
He he picked the song and then he just danced in the fat suit and stuff. So a lot of them just were willing to do this and have fun with Ben Stiller. And it shows that that script was really good. It's a fucking hilarious movie. It's one of a kind.
Y'all should check it out.
Yeah, you gotta
check out Tropical Thunder. It's funny.
Definitely see it. It's very amazing. And obviously Danny McBride is hilarious.
Oh, I love Danny McBride.
Any movie he's in, because even in This Is the End, he was hilarious.
He's the star of This Is the End.
He is the star of that movie. Absolutely, man. I'm telling you. What was that one line too? He's like, you have all these iPads in your walls, and you're over here masturbating like a fucking pilgrim.
Yeah, like a fucking pilgrim.
Oh my god!
I'll come everywhere. I'll come on your walls. I'll come in the bedroom. I'll come wherever the fuck I want to come.
I fucking love it, dude. I love it. That's another movie you guys have to see. I'm sorry. This Is the End is phenomenal.
Pull your pen and paper out.
I'm telling you, man.
Write these
This Is
down.
The End is a phenomenal.
Run it back.
I'm telling you.
Write it down.
But just to retract a little bit, that was the main thing too. That's a movie is special when you can get A-list actors that can easily be the star of their film and have them in these small little minute roles and have them still be memorable. You know what I mean? And the fact that they're just so humble to be able to play that role and enjoy 100%. It. Because you could tell in the movie Tropic Thunder, and there's not many movies where you can do this, But in the movie Tropic Thunder, you can tell that throughout the entire filming process, they were actually having fun.
They were having a great time.
They enjoyed filming that movie. You know, it was fun to them. Some other movies, you know, it's very like textbook. It's very just let's get this done scene by scene.
Oh yeah,
that movie was just so lighthearted in so many ways. I feel like some of those main scenes were actually outtakes that they decided to keep in the film.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think that movie was phenomenal as well.
I agree.
Yeah, man. I personally love talking about films. I'm going to continue talking about films, and I love getting their input as well. So expect that from, you know, episodes from now on as well. We're going to dive into more films, and yeah, you know, we'll go from there, you guys. So we'll see.
Hell yeah. Dude, Rudy, thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't agree more. Like, we're going to just, like, nothing like looking back at great movies, too, that we can tell you guys about, and you guys can hopefully, like, check out and give us your opinion and tell us what you think. Tell us what you have rated, maybe different numbers than us, but let us know what you think, and check these things out, because I promise you, like, you can't miss with any of the movies we talked about today.
Yeah, and put your input in the comments as well, what you thought of movies. You know
yeah.
I mean? Like, oh, hey, I didn't like Meet the Parents, but hey, I liked Ben Stiller in this movie.
Totally.
And Along Came Polly or something.
Oh, another great one.
Get into it. Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started with Along Came Polly. No, phenomenal movie.
Another great Ben. Yeah. I mean, Ben Stiller kind of doesn't miss, to be honest. But
and what's his name? Seymour Hoffman?
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
R.I.P. to him, dude. One of the greatest actors
100%
of all time, man.
Comedic and serious,
and serious.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious because the first time I ever seen him was in
Along Came Polly, yeah.
Hilarious.
Raindrops.
Movie. All of that. That whole scene, phenomenal. But then I saw that side of him in, I think it was Mission Impossible 3 when he was the villain.
Yeah.
And just that one scene where he's like, I'm going to hurt her. I'm going to hurt her. Like, oh my God, man. Phenomenal acting performance.
Oh, yeah, that interrogation scene.
Yes, absolutely. Just his spectrum of the way he's able to act, it's just, so it sucked to see him go so soon.
I agree.
But yeah, so that's the concluding of my segment because I'll go on for days.
No, we're going to do more of that 100%. And in fact, like, segueing into the last thing we want to talk to you guys about today, with the movies and everything, and like we did kind of touch on the writer's strike being over.
Oh yes, you're right.
And so now we have fall content coming out, and it's coming out finally. We have stuff that we can watch and kind of get back to you guys on things we've been dying to watch. Like, one of the main things that we're looking forward to is Loki season 2 has just dropped this week. Season 2, episode 1 is out right now, streaming on Disney Plus for you guys to check out. In fact, we're going to do a little watch party. We're going to check out Loki together, and then we're going to come right after watching the episode and let you guys know what we think, give you our review, give you our rating for the first episode going into season 2. I cannot wait. You guys have been waiting for this one for a while. I think we talked about it on the pod these past few episodes. Marvel's kind of dropped the ball a little bit with their last few projects.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping they hit, because Loki season 1 was one of my favorite Marvel TV projects that they did last year, or they did the past couple years, like with WandaVision and Captain. I mean,
the Winter Soldier, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, like I thought
those were pretty good.
Yeah. They were good, but I think what I loved about Loki the most though was that they were the main show that fully focused on something that we're looking ahead to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the rest of the shows, they're kind of building the characters a little more, making their own story. But yeah, Loki was the one show that they're fully talking about Kang.
Mm-hmm.
Kang is evident in every episode.
Yes.
And that's the show that's kind of opening up Secret Wars.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I think Loki is probably the greatest show that they came out with so far.
I agree.
Respectfully, because Moon Knight was amazing.
Moon Knight was amazing. And so was WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision was phenomenal as well. But yeah, Loki, you're definitely going to be able to see more of what's to come.
Yeah.
In that show more
in the
than
grand
the others.
scheme of like what's going on.
Yeah.
Like,
and like to even expand on Marvel right now too, obviously like I said, like the writer's strike is about to end pretty I know I ended up mentioning how Kevin Feige basically had to sit down with most of the writers, and they had like their own personal meeting. He kind of just wanted to hear their pitch on X-Men. You know what I mean? So that's how you know they're full steam ahead with that. They also just announced, I think it was yesterday too, that they already found, they haven't announced it yet, but they did find their characters for who's going to play Fantastic Four already. Officially, it's set in stone.
Please be some hitters.
Yeah. And they also agreed on the plot of the movie as well. They're just not releasing it yet. But Fantastic Four is already set to go. You know what I mean? They're going to start filming pretty soon. They're good to go. So yeah, man, we got some interesting stuff ahead.
Please really be better than
With the one with Miles Teller?
Yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan?
I think I don't know if it can get
That was
worse.
rough, man. That was rough.
It's only up
That
from
was
here,
rough,
I
man.
feel
Yeah,
like.
it has to be.
Like, nobody thought that was good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard nobody
No.
say that was good.
Not at all. And I love Miles Teller as an actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's phenomenal as an
Whiplash.
actor.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh god, yeah. Whiplash.
Dude, that's
all
a
of them,
great
dude.
fucking...
Dude,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up though, Rudy, because I want to talk to this about both you guys on the pod with everybody. Is that I also read a huge rumor that apparently with these meetings you're talking about, that after Secret Wars they're looking at a big reset in Marvel, and they're looking at that means like moving on into a new, basically new people, even
Yeah.
like in the Marvel universe. So they're looking at like having it kind of like a
Is it like
kind of
new
like a
people to
reset.
play Iron Man,
Possibly.
new people to play Thor,
Possibly,
et cetera, et
yeah,
cetera?
or at least they're
Wow.
they're
That's
talking. Yeah,
risky.
like we'll
That is
keep
risky.
we'll keep researching this and come back to you guys.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring this to you guys because I
Wow.
read about this, and it's very interesting that they're looking. It says like a huge kind of reset, and that might be moving into the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, like, and kind of moving on. I don't know if they didn't necessarily say recasting like Iron Man and Captain America, but moving on from Thor and some of these older characters into
Yeah.
the new
Wow.
changing of the guard. Basically,
So it sounds like they're
Like-
trying to dig deeper into characters most people probably
I
don't
think
know
so,
about.
and I want to
Yeah.
say they're trying to kind of separate from the Infinity Saga. So I think unfortunately that
sense.
might mean like Hawkeye, Hulk, Thor. These we might be kind of getting to the end of the time of seeing these. This is not guaranteed with the characters. I'm just telling you that that's what Marvel and Kevin Feige's kind of like talking about, is that Secret Wars is going to be even bigger than people are expecting,
Oh, yeah,
because it's
dude.
going to reset a lot of things we're used to in the universe.
And honestly,
Like,
the story is so legendary though that you have to go there.
yeah,
You have to, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how did you? It's almost like you're doing a disservice by not fully
I agree.
committing to it.
yeah,
Because Secret Wars was so huge. It had everybody in there, man. Fantastic Four, the X-Men, obviously the Avengers and everything.
yes.
God, even how like the more lesser known characters played a vital role, like Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She-Hulk was in there. It's like there's a lot of characters,
Colossus
man.
is
Yeah.
dope.
And I'm already hearing rumors well that there's already going to be like not confirmed, but the rumor is there's already going to be like 2 or 3 variants of Wolverine in the same.
Oh, I
movie.
heard that too.
Damn,
Yeah,
And
that's
I don't
gonna
know
be
how I
hard.
feel about that.
like Daniel Radcliffe, I guess.
I really
like,
don't want Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine. It bothers me.
yeah,
It's in the back of my mind, like every day. It's just Daniel Radcliffe.
yeah.
No, dude. I know him was up there. Also the King's.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Teron Egerton.
Yes,
Egerton.
him. He's
Like-
another potential variant as well.
How you feel about
That one I'm not as mad about. I'm
Okay.
not,
That could
I
be
like
cool.
him as an actor, but Daniel Radcliffe, man, like no.
That one for
No.
some reason is like, it reminds me of when we saw The Flash and everyone wanted to see Nick
Yeah.
Cage as Superman, so they put him in there. It's kind of like a fan thing, like where it's kind of
Yeah.
got steam, where people just want to see him for some, I don't even know why, some reason they want to see
Yeah.
him. So now I feel like they're doing this stupid kind of, like, I don't like seeing that either, because it's like, just tell the story, don't put a moment where you want to people to laugh but also get taken out of the movie, because like when we talked about way back, like that took me out at least out of The Flash when fucking the CGI Nick Cage popped up, and I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, dude,
like
like, yeah.
I don't want to see that with like, tell the story but don't give us some dumb like fan casting just because, like, you know. So I kind of don't want to see it either. Teron Egerton though, on the other hand, I will give him a pass because they had kind of talked about him being cast as the new Wolverine when they were talking about, you know, before Hugh Jackman got re-signed to be in Deadpool, way before,
Yeah.
when they were talking about the X-Men, his name kept popping up as possibly being cast as Wolverine. And in fact, in our pod episode, when we talked about Wolverine and him being your favorite hero and all, we talked about him being one of the people that was kind of in the rumor mill of taking over for Hugh Jackman.
And that's the thing, man. In order to play him, you gotta have like this sense of ferocity
Yeah.
when you're acting. And I kind of saw that a little bit with Kingsman, but
Not a whole
was
lot.
that movie was very like, as a gentleman, I'm gonna still whip your ass. You know what I mean? But there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of like viciousness,
Yeah.
ferocity. So it's
Veins popping.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta be able
Yeah.
to like. For example, how X-Men Origins Wolverine was a terrible freaking movie, but gave one of the greatest scenes of Wolverine I think I've ever seen. Was when he finally they input the adamantium, and then he came out and he
Oh, yeah.
like that was one of the
when
greatest.
he comes out of the water
yeah,
and just...
that was one of the
Yeah.
greatest scenes, and that was such ferocity that I'm hoping that maybe he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
I don't see Daniel Radcliffe doing any of that.
Yeah.
personally.
Well,
Like-
dude, also because I love what you said because the character, I feel, tell me if I'm wrong here, but with Wolverine, I feel like, especially when I was a kid too, like a part of you is scared of Wolverine, even though he's a hero, and that's always the part of him that Hugh Jackman had too, because I was always kind of scared of Hugh Jackman. I was like, dude, if this dude was running that down the hall at me with his
it's
claws
crazy,
out,
yeah.
I'd be fucking like peeing my pants. Like,
Yeah,
so,
and that's the one flaw with Taron though.
like-
Is just he looks a little soft in the face.
So like,
That's the
Bro,
Yeah.
do we gotta grow a beard? Do we already got a
I
beard?
don't know, man.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
so can Taron and Daniel really scare you as Wolverine?
I don't see
Like they
No.
coming down the
Like-
hall with claws.
Yeah.
I'm not
see,
scared.
I feel like it'll be more toon-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More toon-ish
That's
with them.
tough.
So I don't know, man. At the same time, it's like if not them, then who?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
a few years ago, it was Clint Eastwood's son.
Oh
He
yeah,
was up for it, and then
He
obviously
would be
that
good,
lost
too.
track, that lost tread or whatever. But I don't know, man.
Tom
like, there's-
Hardy maybe.
Tom,
Like,
I would love to see Tom Hardy
Yeah.
as Wolverine. Personally, I think he's one of the greatest actors that we have right now.
he's amazing.
He's phenomenal as
if
an
he
actor.
wasn't freaking Venom already, I think that's what's killing.
Yeah, man.
Because
Yeah,
apparently
he killed
they're
his
trying.
Venom
He
too,
kind
though.
of he kind of stuck in that.
Yeah.
It's
Because
just-
you can't really have him as Venom and as freaking Wolverine because he's obviously, I mean, X-Men obviously is going to be such a huge part of Marvel moving forward
Yeah.
that they're probably going to be using. Well, also Hugh Jackman is currently finishing up a divorce, and I want to say part of the reason he stopped being Wolverine was because it took so much of his time away from family. So I'm kind of hoping maybe we're opening up the door. Apparently, another rumor I was reading is that apparently we're talking about Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman coming back for Secret Wars and
that's
being
been
huge
confirmed.
parts of
That's been
so
That's gonna be
it seems as though Hugh Jackman has
tight.
been brought back on board for more than just Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
He might be back on board for more projects going forward. So hopefully we get to see more of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and not have to worry about the next person coming in just quite yet.
Right.
Maybe not even ever. Who knows? Like, it just seems like Hugh Jackman is moving into a different part of his life, period.
Yeah.
And that might mean different things for his acting career. Because I can tell you that there's a lot of, people that are still in their prime that give up a lot for family. And, so now Hugh Jackman might be...
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
I get it.
Like,
I
and
get it.
I don't judge anyone for that decision.
Yeah, no,
but Hugh
that's
Jackman
fine.
was in the prime of being Wolverine after Logan. I mean, you can't tell me any fan of Logan or Wolverine or Marvel watched that movie and didn't say like, "God damn, I wish this wasn't the last time I got to see him playing this role." Like, and especially like we've mentioned, being an R-rated film and how visceral Logan was. Finally getting to see him actually tear through people with his claws, and an older, angrier, hurt Logan that was just fucking mad at the world and also beat up, so he was just visceral with his life. Like, I'll never forget that first limo scene when he fights the guys by the limo, and it's just incredible
And the
how
claws barely come out and everything, but it still works.
and
he
he's
still
just
makes it
like
work.
he's so gritty in that scene, and it's just such a gritty movie. Really, the whole movie's gritty. Like,
absolutely.
but we get to see more of that action in an R-rated Deadpool film. Like, once again, I know I've said this before on this pod, but I just credit Marvel for separating. Give us the R-rated content. Give us the adult fans the R-rated content we can sink our teeth in, while you're also doing your family fun content for kids, which I totally get. But we need that stuff. Like, you need to learn from the boys and give us a little more of a realistic
you gotta
vision.
take it a little farther.
Yeah,
You
a
have
little
to,
bit
you know what I
farther.
mean?
And you tell more realistic, more heart-wrenching stories this way. Like, I mean, even Deadpool with the second movie, when his girl dies, like, they are able to actually make that a very tough scene, very heartwarming,
Oh my god,
heart-wrenching
it was
scene.
masterful
Yeah,
acting.
yeah,
too.
masterful
Masterful acting.
And you can't show the way that scene goes down. You can't show that in a PG-13. The way she gets shot and the way that whole thing goes down. Like, I don't think it has as much of a gut punch in a PG-13 movie, because you're talking about changing that whole thing, and then him also blowing himself up and afterward, like just like things that you miss out when you're trying to tell a story like that. You need to be an R-rated. It opens up all this room to breathe when you get to be in an R-rated
Absolutely.
setting.
Let's give Deadpool its flowers too, because they mastered it. They laid the foundation for that.
Oh,
they proved that it was possible.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? And on top of that too, they perfectly balanced action and comedy.
Perfect.
They perfected it.
Yeah.
With that co-star too, with the curly hair. What's his name?
The bartender.
The bartender guy. Forgot his name at the moment, but phenomenal. He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He's always just a funny dude on the side. Dude. He's one of those guys that is this perfect comedy relief, and his taxi driver.
Yeah.
Too,
God, I can't remember his name. But yeah, him too.
Yeah.
But it's also the comedic timing though, because he showed the scene where he lost his girl.
Yeah.
She died, and he's out there chasing after the guy in the rain, barefoot. Like the whole scene was powerful.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happens, as soon as the scene is over, he walks into the bar, and then the co-star says something that just it kills you because it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's just
and he's
the,
like
the
too soon.
comedic
Like,
timing. The comedic timing was phenomenal.
No, it is.
And that's the thing with Wolverine too, man. Hugh Jackman ended up admitting that's why it was one of his last movies, on his body.
Yes.
But in reality, though, we don't need you shirtless.
No.
24/7 throughout the film. You could have a whole costume.
Actually, they prefer you in the yellow costume
dude.
for most of the film. I think most fans would say, because we've been waiting for so long.
Yeah.
And they teased us in fucking, was it First Class or was it?
No, it was
which one did they show him look at the yellow?
Wolverine.
Yeah.
The Wolverine. It was an alternate ending.
Yes.
The Japan movie. Yeah.
And they teased us, and they never. And look at how long people were waiting after we got to see the yellow costume. Like and in fact, like I recently went back and I started the X-Men cartoon over again, and it's actually like still fucking really good.
Yeah.
And he's in that, obviously the quintessential yellow and blue costume, and we still have yet to see that in live action. Luckily, thanks to leaks, we know we're getting it in Deadpool 3, but it's about damn time, and we don't need you shirtless. We need you in that suit, and we need you fucking ripping off limbs in that suit, and that's gonna be everything.
So do y'all think? I got a question. Do y'all think Secret Wars could potentially be better than the Avengers?
Oh, are we talking Endgame?
Huh?
Are you talking
No, we're talking
Endgame?
about the Infinity Saga.
Oh,
The Infinity Saga compared to the
this is
Secret
tough.
Wars saga. Honest to God, no.
Say no.
I'm telling you right now, no. The reason I say no is because, although personal opinion, I feel like Secret Wars was the better story than the Infinity Saga, but I just mean barely though. Infinity Saga is
phenomenal, yeah.
The thing was, it's going to be extremely hard to replicate something like how Infinity was released. You know what I mean? It was all new to us. It was all new at the time. It was refreshing. It was real. And the movies were phenomenal that were leading up to that final chapter. So you kind of lose that magic with the second chapter because you know it's going to be the same formula.
That's a good point.
Building up to that chapter. And then that's why people are so frustrated right now, because they know it's the same formula as the first one. But the finished product is not delivering like that first chapter was delivering. So that's why
you're spot on. Yeah,
and that's why I also think that's what they're also bringing in these OG characters, and they're finally bringing in Channing Tatum as Gambit, like fan favorites. They're bringing in these fan favorites. I'm assuming to mask the fact that it's not going to hit as hard as Infinity Saga hit. You know what I mean? People die in Secret Wars. Like, very valuable heroes die, and it's like, if you don't kill them off in that movie, it's not you're gonna lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's very memorable characters. I'm not going to say who if you haven't seen it, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And the way they go out is savage and vicious, too. This story is phenomenal. I'm telling you. But I just don't think they're going to be able to deliver it like they should. I just don't.
Plus, like, I think that, building off of what you said, because I do agree, because they nailed Infinity War so hard with Thanos' entrance. They really, really did that right. Like, and I think they surprised a lot of people. They surprised me, sure, by making him the protagonist of the movie. Really, you're following Thanos through that whole movie, basically. Even though he's the villain, it's his story that's being told through Infinity War. And then in Endgame, it switches to now you're looking at the Avengers' point of view, fighting against Thanos, and he's still in there, but you're not really following him through his moves through like Infinity War. And I think they really nailed that. They really nailed him as a villain. And like Rudy said, it's gonna be hard when he was a fresh, new main villain, and now you have Kang, but you're like, oh, is it just another Thanos, is what people were going to think. Like, because you've already been given a big main villain that they've defeated. And it's harder, too, when you saw the OGs face off, like, with Iron Man and Thor and Captain America, and now...
That big three against Thanos
was phenomenal. And you had so much time invested in those three through all the movies, and now with the new characters, there's a lot less time invested in a lot of these characters, like because of the writer's strike and because of Marvel trying to tell this story. Like, we've only gotten one Shang-Chi still, we've only gotten one we got two Doctor Strange, but it's taken a long time in between. We've gotten we have gotten a new Spider-Man as of recent, but that was probably the last really good Marvel installment. We've
Yeah.
had 3 Iron Mans, but they kind of fumbled this last one. Like, I don't know if people necessarily care as much about the new characters as they do about the old.
And that's the thing,
and
too.
that's big
Yeah.
too, because when you're coming into the people that died in Infinity War, a lot of those hit hard.
Yeah,
and
they
like
did.
you said, when it comes to like the Secret Wars story, is it gonna hit as hard for people?
Yeah,
Like,
dude, because Black Widow, since she died in that storyline, she died, Gamora died, and it's like these are kind of like, I don't want to say they're background characters. I know they're still part of the original whatever, but it's just you didn't care for them like you did Iron Man, and
Yeah,
Captain America.
yeah.
But guess what? The way they died, it still hit.
yeah.
Because you still watched them from the beginning.
Yes.
And so the
Like,
thing with Secret Wars is just, I feel like the way they introduced Kang was actually phenomenal.
Yeah,
Loki,
yeah.
that season finale.
That was
with Loki,
great, yeah.
the introduction to Kang was phenomenal. But I think that having him in Ant-Man, having the storyline play out the way it did, severely dropped his value.
Yes, it did.
Severely. But the thing too is, like, once again, it takes time to build these characters to care
True,
for them.
true.
How are you going to take that amount of time for Secret Wars when there's so many of them? With Secret Wars, if you want to build up a Secret Wars, you're looking at, if you want to do it right, I'm thinking you're looking at like a 20-year window.
Oh my
there's a
God.
there's a lot of characters that you need to build in.
Yeah.
'Cause how are you going to give a damn about Shang-Chi if you don't see him in at least 4 or 5 movies?
I agree.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's just what
Like
it
you
is.
said, you only saw
Yeah,
one
dude,
Shang-Chi.
that's why.
Yeah,
Right.
and he's about to be like one of the new main members of the Avengers, and it's
Exactly.
like, dude, I really liked Shang-Chi, but now it's
Yeah.
been so long, I'm not really invested in Shang-Chi. So if I saw him die, I'm not saying I wouldn't be bummed, but I would be like, oh, okay, well that sucks.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
when I saw Iron Man die, I literally was like
Yeah.
emotional. Like, it was like hard to watch. Like, I was like, this is tough. Like, we
Yeah.
followed RDJ all the way through all of these movies.
Yeah.
We had seen him like 7 or 8 times by the time he died in Endgame. Like,
Yeah.
like that's really building a proper like connection to your characters with your fans. And so then it pays off. These big moments pay off. Like,
Oh,
I
they
remember,
hit.
like, dude, when fucking Tony Stark's sitting there and he goes, and I am Iron Man, like, that moment is
Oh my
like
God.
unbelievable. And a really cool background story too is, I guess it was really hard for Robert Downey to film that specific scene because it was like him giving that
His
character
final
up.
farewell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and so they
Chills,
did
man.
that separately. He filmed that scene separately by himself with like just the crew, like, of him saying that line, like, of that because he was actually supposed to say something different, but they actually changed it to him saying, and I am Iron Man. Like, that moment is so like historically like quintessential for pretty much whatever happens with Marvel going forward, and I don't know if they top that ever, like, honestly, like, and
It's gonna
especially
be tough, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Like-
It's gonna be
And it's
tough
like they
to top
can
that.
do it though. They can.
Yeah.
But it's just the way they're going about it. Like, break it down into 4 parts. Have 5 films and then like a boss, like they do in video games.
yes
Have it be a boss that's underneath Kang, but you know Kang's in the background. So every 5 films, you're building these characters for Secret Wars. Okay, boom, they're established, they're done.
Yes.
Let's move on to another group of characters that
Yes.
are going to be in Secret Wars.
Yes.
Have them focus for the next 5 movies, develop that, have a boss for them to fight. You know what I mean? And have it continue that thing until you get to the final
I couldn't agree
Secret
more.
Wars.
They
Because-
need to hire you,
Oh,
really.
yeah, they need to get Rudy in there. Hey, after this
man.
writer's strike, we
Hey.
got one right here
Come on,
for
man.
you.
Check my man resume.
Because
I'm telling you, man,
what you could be
like,
doing too with all the
yeah.
post-credit scenes is that's where you'll have the characters that are from the movies that you've already wrapped up show up and be like,
Exactly.
now they're they're gonna
That-
meet this person.
Exactly. Have
and
like a
then,
beaten,
like,
the boss be all beaten and destroyed, running back to daddy, running to Kang.
Yeah.
They're stronger than we thought. Blah, 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 blah. Like, go from there. Like, just build it.
because like you said, by bringing King into Ant-Man and not really having a great story for him, really like disappointed me, and then made me not fear him, made me not
pissed me off a
think
little
he.
bit,
Yeah,
too.
it really did,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Like the way they did him dirty in that movie, they really
Yeah.
did, and so I feel like they are doing a poor job of, like Rudy said, of setting up this villain to be really like dude, how cool would it be, like you said, to watch this boss roll back to King, and then say like they're more powerful than we thought, and watch King like dispatch of this dude because he's too weak, and then
you know
be
what I
like,
mean? Throw
like-
Ultron in there. Have
like-
him do a repeat. Like, have
Yeah.
him show up again as one
Yeah,
of the
why
bosses.
not?
Ultron.
Throw
was
Doom
tough.
in there
Yeah,
as one
throw
of the
Doom-
bosses. Have him be the last boss before Kang.
Yeah.
Doom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Throw him in
like
there.
Marvel has a lot of villains they haven't really like touched
They
on, like,
haven't.
and it's like they really could be, instead of just focusing on the big bad, like to try to keep people entertained. Like, dude, the true fans are gonna stick around. So don't let like DC or anybody else kind of throw you off of your path. Like, you should still continue to do this the way, at least, like you said, freshen up the stories, but keep the formula kind of the same in the sense of, like, give us time with each character alone, then put them together,
right
like
there, man.
like, and really build. Like, if you're gonna, like we've said over and over to you guys, like with DC, like Marvel just needs to keep like sowing their seeds, watering their plants, and let it slowly grow into being something beautiful instead of trying to force shit down our throats. Because you start trying to force shit down our throats, and it's just gonna be not quality. And Marvel, you've built such a good library of quality shit. Like, you can literally be proud of. Like that's another thing, like, based on what you're saying, Rudy, like, they can be so proud of the Infinity Saga because they did such a good job. Now they're kind of fumbling the bag in the beginning, and they're probably trying to scramble to be like, we got to save this now, because
that's what Multiverse Madness was.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
that's what that was.
And you start to hear from even like when we were all working together with these people that are fans, like Omar and Victor, and all of us are just like, like, all coming back being like, none of us are coming back being like, boys, you need to see this movie. This movie's incredible. Just kind of like, dude, whatever. I didn't
even go see the latest Doctor Strange because I heard.
Yeah, man, it's just at the end of the day,
dude.
You gotta sit down with the material that's in front of you and be like, okay, we need to build this story right. That's it. Simple as that. We need to develop these characters. Okay, this is the story. Okay, this is gonna. I'm assuming this is gonna take 10 years to build up to this story.
Yes.
Let's really build slowly from there.
Yes.
Infinity Saga, cool. It takes 10 years for them to get to the final chapter. Okay, cool. Oh, Kang's a little bit more complex. There's a lot more teams. There's more characters. This is gonna take about 15 years or so to build. Like, that's how they gotta see it. They're not seeing it.
No, they're not.
They're not thinking longevity. They're thinking what's the next movie. So.
I couldn't agree more with you. That and that's where they're gonna mess up, because if you've already given us filet mignon, you can't give us ground beef after, like, and that's where Marvel's stuck, because DC, on the other hand, they've been feeding us the trash. So now they have the opportunity to give us to give us like a tri-tip, and we're gonna love it because we've been getting the shit. So like Marvel needs to be careful, because you set a standard, you can't go back. You can't, like. Again,
you've already proven that you can get to this level. You have no excuse to go higher.
Yes, I agree.
You have no excuse.
Especially
you already proved it was possible to get to this level.
Yeah.
You already proved it to the world.
That's gonna be tough for them too, though. Because I feel like you have like the Infinity like series and Endgame, and now it's like you gotta like keep that, and it's hella fans that's gonna be looking forward to the Secret Wars. So
it's a lot of years expense though, man. It's a lot of people that are in those chairs, those high chairs in the filming industry, that are old people. They want to see these films before they die. Instead of doing it the right way, being patient, waiting 15-20 years for it to just doing it right, you know what I mean, building it properly. No, I want to see these films now. Like, I don't know, agree.
Man. No, it's true. That's a good point.
I just say tough luck to people. I would rather them just do it right.
Yep, and just wait.
I mean, it's just tough. So I mean,
Stan Lee will he didn't get to see any.
Right,
so kind of a good thing. I mean, he got to see the whole saga of the Infinity. It was beautiful.
He got to see the characters he created come to life. Like, man. I can only imagine what that's like.
Like, I couldn't imagine Stan being like, all right, I only got a little time left. Let's rush everything.
Yeah,
let's rush everything.
Put it all out.
Like,
that's a good point.
Could you imagine? Like, I don't think he would do that. He just like, look, I'm not even gonna be around. I think he already knew that. Like, after a while, like, it's gonna be a lot of greatness that I miss. Yeah, but let's just keep it great.
Yeah,
you know.
No, and that's being unselfish too. Like with your and wanting to make sure your life's work is being done right too. Like. But y'all, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Man, this was a good one. We covered a lot of stuff. Freaking so excited to share this all with you guys. Yeah. We're going to be coming back with next week. I'm going to have 5 new players for you guys to look up to try to add and help you on your fantasy team. We're going to have Rudy hitting us with some more history segments on movies and when they came out during the months that we're in.
And dive into that whole segment. Really.
Absolutely.
Actors, all that, yeah.
And don't forget, we got to get back on Ed's Eats segment.
I forgot. Dang it.
And we're going to have something new and exciting for Ed to try next week, because we got to get him back on.
I'm not going to like it. I can already
And we're also going to be talking about this Niner Cowboy game as well.
You best believe.
See if our predictions, how we hold up.
And also the Bears too, to see how they're going to
do. Hey man, look, I already
got a few things
2 and 3. I'm calling it. It's done. It's done.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah. Well, as for me, Jeff, and my boys Rudy and Ed, We will see you guys next week, next episode. Take care, and take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.